Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to For Better. We're
Yes.
Lauren and Joy Hershey, and we're here to talk to you about marriage and relationships.
Yes.
And live here on Facebook.
Yeah, so we're just going to chat a little bit while we're waiting for people to log on or tune in or whatever you call that. So.
Chatting is a good thing. It's a good thing. Talking about things that are interesting and friendly, even on chatting. You chat back and forth with people on Facebook. It's a real high-tech term. Now, that's how language develops. Chatting is now a high-tech term.
You're pretty funny.
Did you know what day it is?
What day is it?
Today is National Make a Friend Day.
Ah.
Yeah.
So if you haven't made a friend already, it's 8:30 at night.
Yep.
I don't know.
Better get started.
Maybe get started. You can make a friend any day.
Any day.
But,
it's so good to be a friend.
Would have been good to know that
Yeah.
ahead of time, I suppose.
Yeah.
So if there's
National
somebody
Friend Day.
who's asked, done a friend request and you haven't confirmed it and you have peace with it, that would be a great day to do it.
Actually, that kind of ties in with what we're going to share about tonight, about relationships and sowing seeds to have a good relationship. Tomorrow is Abraham Lincoln's birthday.
Yeah, from the great state of Illinois.
Yes.
So our neighbors next door.
Yeah, some of you
we're
guys
in
right there from
Iowa.
Illinois.
So, and our neighbors from our neighbor next door. So
Yep.
Abraham Lincoln, what a wonderful man.
And tomorrow is also National Plum Pudding Day. Have you ever had plum pudding?
I've never had plum pudding, even though my relatives are English. I have a lot of English in me, and I always think of plum pudding as being English, but I've never had plum pudding. But we have had plum Danish.
Plum
When we
Danish,
were in
yes.
Germany, it must have been plum season.
Yeah.
Because they, in
Yes.
the very cool bakery that we went to, they had plum Danish.
Yeah.
They were delicious, of course. Who doesn't love a Danish, no matter what's on top?
Yeah.
Could be cheese, could be strawberry,
Hey,
raspberry,
now you're
apple,
talking.
whatever.
Put the cheese and the raspberry together. Yeah.
Yeah, who doesn't love
Good
that? Hey,
stuff.
Michael, thanks for tuning in tonight. And
Yeah.
Renee, thanks
Glad
for
you guys are
joining
with
us
us.
tonight. We're just chatting a little bit while we're waiting.
Yeah, be sure
giving
and
people a chance to log in.
Be sure and send your requests. We play requests. No,
We play
we don't.
requests.
No, we don't. Hey, Valentine's Day is coming up this
Yes,
weekend.
it's Valentine's week.
So, have you got any great memories about Valentine's Day?
I don't have any. I just have one that sort of stands out. You're always really sweet to me on all of the holidays. Send me flowers, give me chocolates or whatever. You're always really sweet, very thoughtful. I appreciate that. But there's one that really stands out to me. It was kind of a funny thing that we did.
Yeah.
So in search of something to do that was really special. Hi, Mary. Searching for something really special to do on Valentine's Day one year. You searched all
I
over
searched.
the whole area, like
Yeah.
from here to Chicago, to
Yeah.
look for a place that had dinner and dancing.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do something special together.
Like on movies, really
in
nice.
like White Christmas, how they're sitting there at the table and the two girls come out and they start singing. There's entertainment, but you can sit and watch it and just enjoy the whole evening. And so, hey Sheila, so that's what you wanted to do.
Yes.
And so I would have really
did.
loved that. That sounds super cool, because who gets to do that in Dubuque, Iowa? We don't have that here. So anyway, he searched and found this place.
I wanted a live orchestra, live
something.
band.
Yeah. So he searched all around and found this place in Davenport, which isn't that far away, about an hour and some change away to go to. So made reservations for dinner and dancing, and we'll just spend the night down there. So as happens in Iowa, we had this terrible snowstorm, but never to be stopped by snow. Of course, we made our way down to Davenport, and it was terrible weather, and so nobody else came to the dinner and dancing event that was happening. And so, I remember we did eat dinner, but it was a little awkward to dance because there were only like 3 couples. So that's kind of awkward. So we didn't really join the whole dancing thing that was going on that night. So that kind of stands out in my mind. Something silly that happened on Valentine's Day. But Valentine's Day is on Friday this year, which works out kind of nice.
Yeah.
That it's not in the middle of the week. That's always kind of awkward. As far as like, do we go out then on Wednesday or do we go out on the Saturday before, the Friday before? But it's on Friday night. So yay.
Yeah, it's work out real
It's
well.
gonna work out really well this year.
Guys, if you need a tip, Sherry's berries are really nice. So.
They are, but just want to encourage you, if you haven't already got a plan for Valentine's Day, make sure you get a plan together, do something special. It doesn't have to be elaborate, doesn't have to be expensive, but it should be something a little bit special, that you set some time aside to appreciate one another and appreciate the love that you have, and that God has brought somebody special into your life. And so I want to encourage you to do something. Tony Fleege, hey! Thanks for tuning in.
Hello across the pond.
Yeah.
Super.
So do something special for Valentine's Day and make your sweetheart feel special. Let them know how much you appreciate them, whether you get them a gift or whether you do something special for them or whatever. Just make sure that they know how special you are to them and how blessed you are.
Yeah, Tony can take his wife out to Paris.
Wow. Jealous a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, let's pray quick as we get started. Father,
right.
Thank you for our time together tonight.
Thank you, Lord.
Father, fill our mouths with worthwhile stuff and stop us when we've said enough. We thank you, Lord, for your blessing in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, here's what I want to talk to you about tonight. What we want to talk with you about tonight. We have been spending the last few times we've been together talking about how having love in your home, and how Jesus said that if you love one another, you fulfill his commandment, and he will love you, the Father will love you, they will come and make their home with you. Living in that God kind of love, that agape, special kind of love, unconditional love.
Yeah, the culture of your home.
The culture of your
culture
home.
Of your home.
But we wanted to talk with you a little bit about a different kind of love tonight, and because you have more than one kind of love as a husband and wife, and you need to stimulate that.
Right.
Let me talk to you guys out there. Don't think that she's automatically going to love you forever if you do nothing about it. Just if you need to do something, you need to do something to fuel her love. Okay, even if she wants to love you forever, unless you do something, I like to think of it this way, unless you give her love some fuel to burn on. And I'm not talking to you about sexual love. I'm talking about the kind of love where she loves to be with you, she loves you. And ladies, you love him. That there needs to be something there, if I could say it this way, that the love that you have for each other, it's got to be rekindled. Yeah. It's got to be stoked and stirred up. And by doing things, you gotta have to attend to it by doing things that stir that love up, that renew it and refresh it and rekindle it. And I'm going to say it again. Even if she wants to love you like that, she can't unless you're doing the things towards her and for her that stir that love up on the inside. Yeah. Say, hey, Corinne, hi, hello back from Phoenix. Wow. from Dubuque to Phoenix. Wow. Good to see you tuning in. Hey, what he's talking about here is that, like that more in love feeling. Yes. Like we love each other with the God kind of love, and we love each other with with the love that's comfortable love. But as a married couple, you also want to have that, I love you, you're awesome, that kind of love happening in your life. And when the mundane things of life and the routines of life happen to us, we can lose that I'm so in love with you kind of love. And so that's what we're talking about tonight, is fanning the flame of that kind of love, that kind of love that really enjoys the other person. Yeah. And what he's saying is we need to make sure that we're doing something to fan that flame in our spouse. See, when we were dating,
we were doing things that caused that love to burst forth, to cause that to be manifesting in the relationship.
Yeah, come on, guys. You knew when you got ready to go on a date, you were thinking about, what do I need to do so that she's having a pleasant time and she enjoys being with me so that she wants to have another date? And girls, I would imagine you're spending a lot of time getting ready. You're thinking about what would cause you to be attractive to him. And not in just a sexual way, but it caused him to be pleased to be around you, and drawn to you.
Not to be manipulative either, and like you're not being yourself, but being your best self.
Yeah.
More is what we're talking about. So even just the kindnesses, the going out of your way to do special things, which is what you do when you're dating.
Yeah.
You call each other all the time. You think about each other all the time. You just do all the special things. You don't use harsh words. You're kind and you're fun, and you're your best self. And so, but when once you get married, then things tend to become routine, and you can tend to stop doing the things that cause that person to fall in love with you in the first place. Now, you're still that person, but you kind of let your best self go by the wayside, I guess, or just let it down, and you don't pay as much attention to being your best self.
Yeah, we've seen this progression, and if you've been working with people very long, in whatever field you've been in, but if you've been working with people, or been, I'll just say it this way, we've seen this progression. That people meet, they court, they fall in love, they get married, and then after a while, they get busy, they get jobs, then children come along, and they get involved in church if they're Christians, and pretty soon their life is lived around the children, or for work, or ministering in the church, and before long, they could be left in kind of a co-worker relationship, and even when the kids leave, kind of in a sexless, romance-less marriage where, it's kind of sad, and so.
God has more than that.
He does, absolutely.
He wants more than that for your life. He wants abundant life in every area of your life. Yeah. So not only in your spiritual life, of course, that's first and foremost to Him, but also just in your love life. He wants that to be vibrant. Yeah,
you can have that warm relationship if you steward that relationship along the way. Dr. Ed Cole used to talk about the fact that we need to steward one another's love. Yeah. It seems like guys are more susceptible to this than the girls, because we are the hunter and we like to go out and bag the prize. Yeah. But then once we got the prize, we sit down in our lazy boy and got that done, and we feel like, it's automatic, like we own her love. Yeah. And he pointed out that when we feel like we own something, then we feel like we could just treat it any way we want to, since we own it. And if we let that attitude get to us, then we don't do the special things that got us into that wonderful relationship in the first place. Right. And so just some little things. One thing that I did years ago, we used to go to Florida. One of our mentors, our coaches, had a thing there a couple of years, and so we would go to Florida, and it always had it right around Valentine's Day. We were coming back through Chicago, so I arranged for a hotel room in Chicago rather than coming right home, a hotel room in Chicago, and I had a dozen red roses delivered to the room and some Sherry's berries. There's that name again. They ought to give me a cut. But just some things, in order to figure some things out and try to make things special. It was a work trip, but we wanted to take some time. I wanted us to take some time along the way. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about the difference between men and women, Joy. What men and women want in a marriage. In communication, for instance, men are headliners, women are detail
Generally
people.
Speaking.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, this is true. when women tell a story, they tell, a lot of detail. And they like to know the detail, like, oh, this happens to us sometimes. We'll get a phone call or we'll find out so-and-so had a baby. Yay, the first thing I say is, how much did they weigh? How long were they? How did it go? What's their name? He's just like, oh, so-and-so had a baby. It's a boy or whatever. But I want to know the detail.
It's like Joe Friday on Dragnet, just the facts, man.
So sometimes guys are like that. And women, if we're not careful, we can overwhelm our husbands with too much detail. But also the men can just be cut and dried and not give enough detail. So, there's a little bit of a difference there. Generally speaking, in our relationship, we're a little bit flip-flopped on that. I'm a little more like, well, just give me the end result. Just give me the bottom line. And from if you've listened to him minister the word of God, you know what a detail person he is. Even when we started this live broadcast tonight and we were just warming up a little bit, he started to give a definition. He's into the details of it all, and which is great. It helps us in our life, and it helps me in my life.
So if you know these things about each other, we're talking tonight about how you can make the relationship more pleasant, more enjoyable. And on each of our end, on my end, I need to recognize who I'm married to and what I can do to make her life more pleasant and more enjoyable. And of course, if that happens, then she tends to want to be around me more. And so I like that. And so let's talk about this. Men like to do the same thing, wear the same thing, eat the same thing. And
this is true. Okay, so ladies, have you ever taken your husband to, and maybe you don't even have to take him, have you ever taken your husband to like Target or Walmart, somewhere like, okay, we need to get you some new socks, or we need to get you some new t-shirts, yours are getting kind of grungy, we need to get you some new ones. And what do? They say, well, this is the kind I had last time, so that's all I need to look at, right?
Yeah, got
so
that taken care of.
Guys like the same. Whatever worked, yay, let's go with that.
Yeah, and it on the positive side, that kind of sameness.
It's bad. It just is.
It just is. It works some stability. It provides an opportunity to minister stability to the wives. But guys, your sameness can really get boring.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit boring.
Yeah, get out of the box.
Yeah, if you insist just on the same thing, over and over and over again, every time, I don't know. There's a lot of ways that manifests.
If you get her...
Okay, let me tell you something. Okay, so it manifests in our life like this. So when we're having a holiday, say it's Christmas, and we're having people, our family in for the holiday, and we're making the meal. So my husband does not like it if I try to have something new. He always wants,
This is getting personal now.
Well,
go right ahead. I'm just teasing. Okay. You're right.
I don't want you to feel bad I said this,
I don't.
He likes, if we had mashed potatoes, before and it worked, why would you want to do any other kind of potato? Or, if you made the turkey this way and it worked, why would you ever try to make it another way? That's kind of how that manifests in our life sometimes, that sameness. But true, that sameness and that predictability about my husband also provides a certain sense of security in my life, which I really like.
Cool.
So there are other areas, not necessarily the food area, it's not a security area for me, but other areas of my life, his predictability adds to my feeling of security in the relationship, and that's a good thing. So it's not all bad. There's a lot of positive to it. But women don't always like things all the same, right. And that's why if we need a new t-shirt or we need new socks, we're going to go look at something we don't have. We're going to go look at something we've never had before, something different, something fresh, something new. We like a little bit of adventure.
Yeah.
And so that's something, gentlemen, that you might want to know about your wife, that she's not just looking at different things to irritate you, but she likes things that are fresh. She likes a little bit of adventure in her life.
Yeah.
That's probably what won her over to you in the first place, was some of the adventures that you took her on.
She likes spontaneity and excitement and something, and romance. So guys, if you stopped by the florist and picked up a single rose and brought it home and she was delighted with it, just realize that if you do that the next day, it's probably going to be okay. But if you do that 3 or 4 days in a row, in about 3 or 4 days, it's going to be a bummer. Rather than
You lost it.
You lost it.
You lost the payback for that. If
Yeah.
it becomes routine,
Yeah.
it's not romantic. So something that's a little outside the box would be something better to think about. And doing things that are a little unexpected for your wife would go a long way
Yeah.
toward keeping that love stirred up within her.
Yeah. Now, talking about romance, the verse out of Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 6, reads this way: keep me close. And this is the Shulamite young lady who's talking about the love of her life. She says, keep me close to yourself like the ring on your finger. Another translation says something about having, keep me tattooed on your heart. And that's really what the girls
That's
want.
What we want to know that we're with you, that you're thinking of us, that you're stuck on us, like you can't get away from us.
Yeah.
Like if you have a tattoo, like that's really hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
We want to be on your mind, not that you think about us 24/7. We know that's impossible, but we don't want to be forgotten.
Yeah.
We don't want to be taken for granted. And I know the gentlemen don't want to be taken for granted either. But for sure, we don't want to be taken for granted. We always want to know that we're special.
Yeah.
The one special person in your life that you see us as a standout, and somebody that you really want to do your best for and go out of your way for.
That's what this girl is for
what we
me.
want. Thanks, honey.
There's a book called Wild at Heart, and I can't think of the author's name right now, but he points out in that book something that's really worth thinking about, is that men long for adventures and battles and beauty. Deep in his heart, a man wants to fight a battle. He wants to live an adventure. He wants to win a beauty.
Well, he wants to be a hero.
Yeah, he wants to be a hero.
He wants to be a hero.
Wants to rescue that beauty. And a girl wants to be the beauty.
Yeah.
How many shows have we seen?
Oh, there we go. John S. Eldridge. Yes.
There.
Thank you, Dennis.
Wow,
You came
Dennis,
through.
thanks. The girl wants to be the beauty. How many times have I seen where a guy will be leaning over, you'll see a scene, whether it's actually in life or in a movie or a play, where the guy's leaning over, maybe a dad telling his daughter even, you're so beautiful. It just ministers to her. And every girl growing up wants to be the beauty that she wants to be. The beauty she wants to be fought for, and then she wants to be swept off her feet. That's romance. Think of every romance movie you ever saw. Okay, think of the Harrison Ford movies. The Zorro movies. All those movies like that. You always have the battle scene. Good versus evil, the hero versus the villain, the forces of the hero versus the forces that are fighting back and forth. And then in the big battle, it comes to the point where it's obvious that the good guys are going to win. And at that point, you usually see the hero of the movie leave the scene. Well, he's gone. Where did he go? He went back for the girl.
Always go back for the girl.
Always go back for the girl. And then you have the big scene where the hero and the villain are man on man, fighting that thing out, and he wins. The hero wins. He conquers, he fights the battle, he wins the beauty. And what happens next? He sweeps her off her feet, and they go riding into the sunset, her on the back of a stallion, hugging her champion, whether it's a stallion or it's a Harley. It might be, who knows what it is. So, guys, it's Valentine's Day on Friday. Go get you a Harley, or a horse or a Mustang. Get you a Mustang. If you're in warm weather, get a convertible. You can rent them. Do something. Do something.
Well, I was just thinking, how do we make that practical?
Yeah.
What you were just talking about was like a movie scene.
Yeah.
And we don't live in movie world, but how does a guy do heroic things to keep the love alive in their life? And sometimes it's the little things. Sometimes it's the little things like she's exhausted, you do the dishes. Sometimes it's little things like that, but sometimes it's you gas up the car. You gas up her car for her. Make sure it's ready to go for her, so she doesn't have to do it. Yes, she can.
Yeah.
She can.
Yeah.
But for you to do that for her is like you're being the hero. Like you're treating her as special and precious to you. So
That's
think
a
of
really
ways.
good point.
Yeah, think of ways that you can go out of your way to do something to show her that she's precious to you, that you value her, and
because sometimes it might not be the candlelit dinner at a real posh restaurant, especially that you both know you can't afford or something like that, or maybe she's tired. Maybe it'd just be an opportunity for her to stay home. Maybe you turn the lights down a little bit, light a candle.
get takeout.
Get takeout, and do something like that. Just be there together. Some way that you can, because you're listening to her, you know what would bless her. And guys, you're the strong ones. And if you'll use your strength in a way that you're defending her, you're protecting her, you're ministering to her, you're doing things for her, watching out for her, cherishing her, man, that's pretty lovable.
It is. That will fan that flame of love in your wife's heart that you want to fan. And so ladies, be sure and give him the kudos,
Oh yeah, that helps.
Give him the strokes for being your hero when he does things for you. Be sure and thank him and let him know how great that is. To let him know he is your hero. That will minister to him in a great way.
I mean, so much.
And it will fan that flame of love and in his life, and cause him to love you more when you appreciate what he does, and when you're kind to him and you respect him, and could put him on a little bit of a pedestal for in your life, and just let him know. I mean, a spouse is a treasure, and we never want to take them for granted. And we never want to just presume that same love that we had that caused us to get married is that natural human kind of in love. We never want to take for granted that they're going to love me like that forever if we don't do what it takes to make sure that love stays strong. And so I want to do what I can to make sure that your love for me stays strong. And I know that you want the same. And you are sweet and kind, and you are my hero. And I appreciate all that you do for me. And so I hope that everybody that's watching also has the blessing of somebody great in their life. And if you don't, if things aren't going so well for you right now, then start to be your best for your spouse and start to do the things that you did that caused them to fall in love with you in the first place. And you're going to find, I think that you will find a lot of change happening, and I think you will find beautiful fruit that comes from that. So I just want to encourage you in that you do the things that fan the flame. And if you don't know what those things are, we have a little homework for you tonight. We always try to give you a little something that you can, a little exercise you can do with your spouse one-on-one. And when we shut this off and stop going live, when we go off the air tonight, then this is something that you can do with your spouse. Or Tiffany, you're not married, so you can take notes and maybe do this in the future as God sends you an amazing, godly man to come into your life and be a wonderful spouse for you. But for those of you who are married, what's their task for the night, their assignment?
We want you to ask your spouse, this is how it would look. What do I do that fuels your love? Ask your spouse, what do I do that fuels your love? It may take them a little bit to think about it, but I promise you, it'll be a blessing to you, and it'll be a help to you. So, what do I do that fuels your love?
It helps us because when you know that I don't know how old it is, but that saying that you get more of what you appreciate. And sometimes we're going through life and we don't know what we're doing that does or does not cause our spouse to be more in love with us. When they look at us, we think, oh gosh, I love that guy, you know, and we want to have more of those moments. And if we don't know what causes those moments, then, you know, we're sort of like stabbing in the dark. It's kind of like the lottery, you know, it's okay, I'll get a ticket, but I don't know if it's going to be worth anything. Sometimes we do things and we don't know if we're really doing the things that really are going to help our relationship. So if we can communicate those things to each other, then we can know what really blesses our spouse and what they really do like about us. You know, so that's our assignment for you guys tonight.
So take a few moments, talk together, and fall in love all over again.
Yeah.
We love you guys with the love of God.
You.
And we all hope to see you and communicate with you next week. Thank you for tuning in. And if you have any questions that you really like for us to cover, be sure and post them and let us know.
Yeah, and you can always share. Hey, Sheila, thanks for tuning in. We're just signing off. Sorry. But you can share this once it gets up on Facebook. You can share this with friends too and invite them to watch live next week. Okay? So we love you all.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend. Great week. Happy Valentine's.